Systems first, people second. Stop building your business around people. Now, before you run to the comments, hear me out, hear me out. I'm not saying people don't matter. I'm not saying leadership doesn't matter. I'm not saying humans and culture doesn't matter. And if you followed me for any amount of time, you know I spend a lot of time talking about becoming a better leader, becoming a better CEO, treating a team with respect. What I am saying is that your business should never be dependent on one person for it to function, or for people, that specific person in a specific role for it to function. And there's a very big difference, because when your business is built around somebody's memory, somebody's personality, their way of doing things, you actually don't have a system. You have a huge dependency. And the problem with the dependencies is that eventually things are gonna happen. People get sick. Somebody's gonna go on maternity leave because they're gonna have a baby, and people get burnt out. You know, somebody gets a promotion, because if you're watching this and you have a small business, the truth is you can't pay them that much right away. So they see other opportunities and they eventually disappear. And none of that makes them bad team members. They're just human beings with lives outside of your business. Your business is not the center of their universe. So if your business falls apart every time someone leaves, that's not a people problem. You have a business operations problem. And today, that's what we're fixing. Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Zara. I'm a fractional COO, helping founders of small teams lead confidently, build businesses that give them options, and obviously become better CEOs. Before anything else, let us anchor this conversation with a definition where a lot of people are already confused. What's a system? Somewhere along the way, we started calling technology systems, and they're not the same thing. I hear it all the time. I'm setting up my systems. What they mean to say is they're buying ClickUp, or they need, or people say, oh, I need better systems, and they go to Notion or Airtable or Google Drive or Google Docs, whichever newest platform. Right now, everybody's talking about being on cloud. And I've seen the automations. They're not good because some of your systems aren't strong enough. The software is not the system. The software is where the system lives. And so a system is really a simple way of getting from point A to point B. Sequence of steps, the decisions that get made, the standard everybody follows, so that no matter what happens, no matter who is doing the work, no matter who is sick today, the outcome is relatively consistent. Let me give you an example. When you go to Burger King in Jamaica, where I'm from, you can order a number one and you're sure to get a Whopper. When you go to Burger King in South Florida, where I currently live, you go to Burger King, you can order a Whopper and you're gonna get the same thing. The person who works in Jamaica is not the person who works in Florida. When we went to Thailand and we went to Burger King, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. The Whoppers tasted the same. And it didn't matter that Susie lives in Jamaica and Ty lives in Thailand. I just made that up. It doesn't matter that Anna works in the US. That Whopper stays the same, because Burger King did not build their Whopper around Susie showing up to work. Does that make sense? And if I could bring it even in our online space for people who have remote companies, somebody comes into your business, what happens next? They apply for your program. They receive a confirmation email. Then they get a link to book. They get reminders before the meeting. After the meeting, when they come on the call, you tell them what's going on. They get a proposal after the call. If they sign, they receive an invoice or contract. Make the payment on the invoice. They get an onboarding email. They get access to whatever needs to get access to. They get an invite into your client portal. If you have Slack, they get an invite. That's the system. That's the process. Now, where that system lives is a complete different conversation. And regardless of who shows up, that can get done. If I'm the one building out the system, it can get done. You could run it inside Dubsado. You could run it inside HoneyBook with a combination of Gmail. You could use GoHighLevel. You could use Ivory that's built on GoHighLevel. You could use Airtable with a few automations. And of course, you could manage parts of that manually as well in Gmail with a checklist in Notion or a checklist in Apple Notes. That's still a system. The technology changes, but the system doesn't. One of the first things I want us to get from this conversation is stop also shopping for software before you've designed how you want your business to work. Because if your process is messy in Dubsado, it's still going to be messy in GoHighLevel. And that's what's important. Technology magnifies what already exists. And I feel like I said this in every video, but I will continue to say it. It's just not the same. I had a client who taught me this lesson all over again. I'll never forget, because I think I've always gotten pushed in the fire. I think I look like I'm a firefighter. I need to get some red on me. But this client was not in the middle of a launch. I think I gave a example of a client who was in the middle of a launch, but what she was doing is moving a lot of things around, and her VA just disappeared. No notice, no handoff, just gone. The virtual assistant was really, we still don't know to this day. I think, and then they were like posting on social media, so we knew they were not dead. That was my main thing. Like, is this person dead? But the virtual assistant left, and all the little things that was all done through them. Yeah, so and the truth is, people are people be peopling. So really the virtual assistant is not the point of the story, because people leave jobs every single day. Yes, we would have wanted notice, yes, we would want to have a better handoff. But the problem wasn't that the virtual assistant left. The problem was that the VA had become the operating system. Every single question I asked during the onboarding had the same answer. Oh, he would have handled that. I don't know where that is. Oh, he normally remembers to send that. He knows where those files are. I don't know how he does that. You have to talk to him. How are we going to talk to him? Every single answer pointed back to that one person. There wasn't a documented process for the upcoming launch that we were planning for. There wasn't a checklist. There weren't any SOPs. There wasn't a central place where information lived. There wasn't even clarity around who was in charge of which part of the process that was done multiple times. Well, I know who was in charge, the virtual assistant. Everything lived inside of one person's head. So now imagine we had a launch coming up, and I had to do that, and I had to also support her trying to rebuild her business from someone else's memory, the person who was not there. That was her reality. And it's not because she wasn't a good CEO, but somebody told her along the way that you should build a business that works without you. Hire VAs from the Philippines, pay them $5 or $3, and she let it go, and the entire operating system was there because she built the business around the person. So when I say that you should put systems before people, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be human. What it means is that you need to make sure that no matter what happens, somebody can pop in. The goal is to make sure that your business is resilient. Those are two completely different things. Ignoring human and making the business resilient are two different things. I want your team members to have vacation. I want them to have children if they want to have children, and to be able to go on maternity leave and somebody can pop in. I want them to be able to take time off when they're sick without feeling guilty that everything is going to fall apart because the business can't function without them. Good systems give the good people freedom, and you need people to feel like they have freedom. They don't remove the people. As a matter of fact, you need the people to build the systems. And I think that's where the tension is, because whenever I say that and people get super personal, they're like, well, you need the people before you build the systems, or, oh, I'm a human first. Please, building systems do not mean that you're not human first. It only means that you're making sure that the humans have some structure to work within, right? Oh, you need the people. Yes, you need the people to build the systems, because people build the systems. Systems are neutral, they're inanimate. It doesn't mean that we're not going to lead with heart. But because we're so confused on what a system is, and we think systems it's all about the tech, then that's why we have those really bad takes. And then you start these debates on the internet. But big up to Threads every time, because Threads tells me what we want to talk about. I love my hot takes. I've been testing my YouTube angles on Threads, so that I can know which videos to talk through. And that's been Chef's Kiss. Mwah. That's your free YouTube tip of the day from this YouTube video that may or may not go viral. But I'm declaring virality over this YouTube channel, even though this is like my 4th video ever. Because I feel like whenever I talk about systems and I talk about business operations, I either attract super type A people who are like, yeah, that's my girl. Or I attract people who are like, no, that's not how I do it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I do not care how you do it. Because the crux of the matter is, as long as you do something that makes sense for you, that's what works. So what are the plays? Every video I give you plays, because business is a game, baby, and all of us are just playing it in a way that makes sense for us. Play 1. You need to figure out what our system is. We already anchored it. But here's a simple test. If your favorite tool shut down tomorrow, could you write out your process on a whiteboard on how things get done? Could you essentially hand it to somebody brand new and let them execute it? So somebody who is like, they're stepping through the doors and they're like, hey, I'm here to get your last person. Could you have them execute it? And if yes, you have a system. If no, you are leaning on software, and businesses built on software are the same as businesses built on people. Very, very fragile. So we have to build a process first. Process map. Write it down, and then you choose a tool to hold it, and then you give the person the ownership. You have to layer how work gets done. Play number 2. What are the key areas of your business? Every business, no matter how small it is, but I'm pretty sure that we're having small businesses watch this. Every business, regardless of size, needs systems in the core areas. How do clients are finding you, and how do they enter your world? That's your marketing system. What happens when they pay and what happens after they pay? That's your onboarding and delivery system. How do you communicate with clients throughout their experience? That's your client communication system. How do people leave? And how do you collect feedback and testimonials? That's your offboarding system. Then we have to think about our internal operations. So how does your team know what to do each week? That's your internal operating system. You actually don't need 20. You just need the right 5 to 7 built out for every stage. Everything else is just, my hot take is that everything else is just noise. All the other things that people, oh, you have to, you don't. If you only have those, you're fine. You're good to go. And then the next place that we're going to start with what's currently important. What's burning? What's overwhelming you right now? We need to document it. Stop right now. Pause this video. Say thank you, Zara. Not pause. Thank you, Zara. Start with where the pain is. What's breaking? What's the thing that if it were smoother right now, it would give you the most relief and it would give you the most return on your investment? Start there. Is it that your team keeps asking you the same questions? Start there. Build it one at a time. Document it. Test it. Then move on to the next one. Operations has always been iterative. It's never something that's done. It's living, it's breathing, and SOPs are living, it's a breathing document. And it doesn't start with having something like a perfect Notion dashboard or a workspace. I kind of starts with like a simple, for me, it starts with a notebook. It starts with a Google Doc. Blank. I love me a blank page. I love me a blank page. Next play. Everything that you do, even as a CEO, needs a SOP. Nobody likes to talk about that part. But the things that are in your head, they need to become SOPs, and they need to have owners, they need to have holders. Some of the things are for you to hold right now, because obviously I think I spoke in the last video about the fact that a lot of businesses don't need job descriptions. Go watch that. That also caused some ruckus. But my rule is that in small companies, yes, you are the CEO. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you're not a CEO, you're a founder, you're a CEO. You just are also the coach, the videographer, the social media manager. You have all the things, but I want you to still document them so that when somebody comes on and they take that hat off you and they take that role based on your business, they have something to run with. And it makes it so much easier if you're just doing it along the way. Also, when you create your own SOPs that you follow, you get even more efficient. Because if you're doing the same thing over and over again, like for me, my SOP for waking up, I love my morning routine SOP. That makes it easier. That made my barrier to entry even lower because I created my own system and I stuck to it. And I think that's a great start for people who are feeling overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I don't want to give this to anybody. But how are you helping even yourself to become efficient? And let's not even talk about delegating to AI and the fact that if you do not know how to delegate to humans, AI is going to be even more annoying because AI doesn't have context. It doesn't have empathy. It doesn't have understanding. It can't pull things up from this random trip that it took 3 years ago to that random place that you spoke about. So I actually think that you should learn how to delegate to humans first before you learn how to delegate to AI. So with those plays, here's what I want you to do this week. Identify one process in your business that only lives in someone's head, whether it is your head, whether it is your team member's head, anyone. And I want you to document it this week. Just one. I'm not asking for a bunch, just one. If you're going to use the notes app on your phone, your Google Doc, your Notion page, get it out of your head, get it out of their head and into the business. Second, look at your current tools and ask yourself if you have systems beneath them or just subscription. If the tool was supposed to disappear tomorrow, your most used tool, could you still describe the process and build it in something else? You really need to be able to do that. What are 3 to 5 core areas of your business that need documented systems right now? Not 20, 3 to 5. Remember, we gave them earlier. Whatever is causing the most friction for you. And fourth, if you have a team member right now who kind of just knows how things work, I want you to sit down with them this week or next week. Start extracting bit by bit what's in their head. And we're not saying we're praying for them to leave, but we want them to be able to take a vacation. Let's just start there. We want the knowledge to be in the business. We want to create the processes for the business and not the processes for the people. Systems first, people second doesn't mean people don't matter. What it means is that the system is what allows the people to do their best work and it protects your business when somebody leaves. It's what makes onboarding the next person possible instead of starting from scratch and instead of it being painful. It's what allows you to do turnover quickly without the business losing. So stop building your business around people, build it around systems and let the people plug into these systems. Because as I've always said, good operations aren't about making things complicated. They are about making work better, making things clear, and we have to get it out of people's head. We have to get it into the business, because at the end of the day, my friends, that's what gives you the freedom. That's what gives you options. It's not the software, it's not the team, the system. And of course, as you know, if this is something that you want to work more on, this is what we do here at Founder Be Free. So feel free to talk more with me by just booking a call in the discovery link below or signing up for one of our upcoming challenges. And we'll talk soon. See you next time. Bye.